Hi, I'm Johnny from UltimatePaperMache.com, and I told you a few weeks ago that I was making a pattern for a cow mask, and I finally got it done. This one is made as a helmet style mask, so it goes over your head, and I tried it on just to make sure it fits, and it does. I like to use a cap under it just because it makes it more stable on my head. It's just a little bit loose, and the cap just really helps. A black cap obviously would have been better, but I don't happen to have one right now. And then, of course, I always put my masks on the wall, so that's what I'm going to do with mine. I'm going to make this one. This is just the pattern itself before any paper mache or paint or anything. And it's got a flat back, so it can be done either way. I've actually gotten a surprisingly large number of requests for cow mask. I kept putting it off. I don't know why. And then I was binge watching the TV show Father Brown. It's a British cozy mystery. Just love that show. And two of the main characters tried out for a community theater production, and Father Brown got a part as one end of the cow. And at least in the show, I don't know if this is true in real life or not, but in the show, the play was so popular that everybody in the audience knew all the words to it. And that just made it more fun for me for some reason. Maybe because I've always thought it would be kind of cool to be an actor, but it would be also make me really nervous. So if I happen to get the part as a cow, I think I could probably pull that one off. Now there's two things about this pattern that are different from the other mask patterns that I've been making recently. The first one is that because the eyes are on the side of her head, cows just don't put their eyes in the same place we do. So if I had just left a hole here for the eye, there's no way you'd be able to see out if you were wearing it. So I did have to put holes in the front. All the other patterns that I've been making recently are animals that have eyes close enough to the front. So even like the lion, I had to move them just a teensy bit closer than they would be in real life, but not enough so that it would be noticeable. It's still a very realistic lion. And the cat, of course, they have eyes straight on the front. So does the selfie monkey. But cows she just wasn't cooperating that way at all. So I did have to put holes in the front. And that meant that I got to put a realistic eye in the mask. This is something that you can do with any of the other masks too. As a matter of fact, most of the people who are showing me their lions and wolves that they're putting on the walls, they're going ahead and putting balls on the inside for the eye just to make it more realistic. In order to give some depth to that eyelid, rather than just putting the ball on the inside right up against the cardboard, first of all, I made a long kind of a wire out of crumpled aluminum foil. It's really easy to do and kind of fun. You're making it the same way that you would if you were making a coil out of clay. And then I taped that on the inside of that eye just to add that little bit of depth so it looks more realistic. Now I actually got a little bit carried away on those eyes. I went to Walmart and got some stick-on false eyelashes, which are kind of silly because you can't see black eyelashes on a black cow, but it was fun to do anyway. I actually showed how the paper mache went over that eye in my last video. As a matter of fact, there is a way to put paper strips and paste over a detail like that and not lose any of the detail underneath the paper strips and paste. As you can see, the paper mache on the side here is also nice and flat because I use those same techniques that are in that last video. Now there's one other thing that's different as well. And this one is not quite as much fun as those eyes. And I'll get this other pattern up here so that you can see just the pieces without the paint on there. Especially right here around the muzzle, there's a lot of little darts that you have to pull together. You need to shape them, everything to be nice curves. And it's a lot easier to shape the cereal box cardboard into those nice soft curves than it is using corrugated cardboard because it's so much stiffer. But when I tried making the whole thing out of cereal box cardboard, I got a lot of warping, especially right here along this long flat piece on her jaw. Couldn't change that shape or it wouldn't look like a cow anymore. So the only thing that I could possibly do is to use two different kinds of cardboard. There's the cereal box cardboard for the top and for the muzzle and for the ears. And then corrugated cardboard for the big flat piece along her jaw and for the back. Once I changed out the materials and actually used two different kinds of cardboard for the mask, That worked a lot better when I added the paper mache and allowed it to dry. I wasn't getting any kind of warping at all on the side, but I was still getting a problem because it was trying to spread out so that the mask was ending up being wider than the shape of a cow's face. I have no idea why that was happening, but it definitely did, and it was driving me nuts. So what I finally ended up doing is really, really easy. I just wish I had thought of it sooner. And that is that I created some patterns for temporary braces. The braces go on after you've put paper mache on the inside, just one layer, that's all you need. And then you wrap it around just so that it covers about a half of an inch around the outside edge of the mask. No more than that. It's really important because you're going to put that temporary brace in there and you're going to hold it on with masking tape, which has to have dry area to stick on. You allow that to dry completely, absolutely, totally dry on the inside. And then without taking the brace off, you completely cover the front with your paper mache, or you could use paper mache clay if you want to, but you don't cover up that masking tape. You allow it to dry again, and then you're able to take the braces off. There's no warping, and the cow ends up being exactly the right shape. Like I said, I wish I had figured it out a little sooner. I think I made at least 10 of these. Once I figured that out, just to use 2 different kinds of cardboard when I'm putting the pattern together, and to use those braces while the paper mache is drying. After that, this went together really easy. It's actually one of the easiest patterns so far that I've created. And I really, really like the way it came out. I painted her as a Holstein cow because those eye holes in the front, they just kind of disappear against the black. But there are so many breeds of cows that if you go and do a Google image search of just a cow breed, you're going to find one that you absolutely fall in love with. This would even be really cool as a Highland cow. I made one of those a couple of years ago. It's kind of embarrassing to even tell you what that video is because it was the very first time I had ever used a hot glue gun, I think. I've always been a little bit afraid of hot glue, and I really kind of made a mess of her hair. But the cow came out really cool, and a lot of people really liked it. You can do exactly the same thing with this pattern, just make the horns bigger. In order to make the horns any shape you want to, just redraw them onto a big piece of cardboard and put them on. The horn itself is made solid with crumpled foil, and I put that on with a hot glue gun too. I'm a lot better with a hot glue gun now than I used to be. And it comes out really nicely. And like I said, you can make those horns any size you want to, put on hair if you want to, make it any breed you want to. I know that every single person who uses this pattern is going to make their cow a little bit different, and I just can't wait to see how they all come out. I do hope that if you make one, you'll come back to the Daily Sculptors page on my website and show it off so that I can see how they turn out. If you want to make a cow mask of your own, either to wear or for the wall, you can find the pattern now at ultimatepapermache.com/cowmask. Go and check that out now, and then come back and visit me, ultimatepapermache.com. I'll see you there.